doing?
I'm good.
Good.
You?
Perfect. Well, I'm doing great, and it's just been a crazy whirlwind over here today, but it's been good. So, but I'm so excited to chat with you about your books and your writing. So, if you could just start out by telling a little bit about yourself and your books and kind of how you started, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I'm Tasha Hackett, and that is my real name, not a pen
Cool.
name. I debated for a long time and was like, I don't know, my name is Tasha. We'll use that.
I love it.
Yeah, I really, if I had to pick something, it's probably reading Laura Ingalls growing up, and I had believed that she had just like kept a journal and then basically published it. And
Oh yeah.
I just thought, so I got a journal when I was 10 and I would write down everything. And I kept a journal really pretty regularly until I went to college and then I just didn't have time. And I realized in hindsight, there's a lot of journaling that happens when you don't have friends to talk to, which sounds really depressing. I
Yeah.
had friends, but it was different when I'm living in a dorm room,
Yeah.
living my life. Um, and then I realized too, like no one wants to read any of that. Like I mean,
Yep.
it just is a funny thing. It's a funny thing to think of your childhood
Yep.
on what you think you're going to be. And then I was going to major in math because I was good at math. Why not? Or I could do piano. And then I was like, but I like to read books. It was a whole thing. But I ended up getting a degree in English and English education with a minor in theater. And then I went and had a
Cool.
bunch of babies instead. And have never, this is embarrassing to say, but it is what it is. I've never had a full-time job besides 9 months when I was a secretary.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I'm 38, living my life, loving it. It's great. And then I had a friend from college publish a book, and I was like, I was gonna do that. And I sort of got jealous, not a mean jealous, but like well, if she can do that, then I can do that.
Right.
And I started, and I had no idea what I was doing, and stopped and read all the books on how to write a book, and then went back, and it was a slog, and it was 3 years, and I had more babies. I have 4 kids. I make it
Okay,
sound like
cool. Yep.
so many. There's only
Yep.
four. Um,
I
there's
love
enough. There's enough for me.
like how many books out do you have right now?
So I have the 3 novels out.
Yep.
There's the historical prairie and then a contemporary rom-com. Um, I think it's really funny, but I know that rom-com title is sometimes I had an agent tell me it's not really rom-com because it needs to be like slapstick humor with a bunch of, and I was like, but it's really funny.
Yeah. It counts
Um,
as rom-com. It's just
it's
rom-com is, romance and
comedy,
comedy at the same time. So,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And then so then I have a kindergarten math curriculum,
Oh, cool.
which is its own separate thing. It's one of those like when you start writing, you're like, well, I know things, I can write
Yeah.
stuff. But I'm not really pursuing the nonfiction side. It's hard to market
Mm,
because I'm marketing to these romance readers, but also homeschool, and they don't have
right.
to be the same.
I
I'm about to publish my fourth novel. So
oh,
altogether, I have 4 books out now, almost five.
oh wow, that's exciting. And so the fifth one, the one you're currently working on that one then.
Yes.
Cool. And when is that one coming out?
So I just advertised that it's launching in November,
Okay.
but I haven't.
That's
It's sort
exciting.
of my like, it's a deadline that's going to hurt because I haven't written the book yet.
Oh,
And
yes. Okay.
I just launched a title reveal like this is coming, which I have never done that before until the book is done. Like usually
Okay.
I finish the book and I have the cover and I have it's being edited, it's almost done, and then I start.
Okay.
But
And
I've
you
been
start kind of like announcing like the cover reveal and the title and everything.
right.
Okay. Yep.
I have become friends with the author Mandy Blake. Do you
Yes.
know?
Yep.
Um,
He's lovely.
and she's fantastic, and she's actually been doing this not much longer than me, but she did it full time from the get-go. Not, I mean, she still worked her job, but she did it
Right.
like we're doing this, and I was playing.
Yep.
Um, she has 30 something books out. She knows what she's doing, and
Wow.
she will put pre-orders up for a book before it's even written. And
Wow.
what? So I tried it.
Mhm.
So the title reveal is out, and I'm thinking about putting pre-orders because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe people want to buy it, and that'll
Right.
make you finish the book.
Oh my goodness, that is so exciting. Okay, so
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about the book that we're spotlighting? I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's on its way. Since you had said
Yeah,
you,
not this one. This is the contemporary.
oh
I
yes,
actually have.
cool. That's a cute cover, by the way. The socks.
Thank you. I put together that one.
That's cute.
Okay. This one, I think this is
Cool.
my first book.
Bluebird on the
It's probably
Prairie.
backwards for you. Bluebird on the Prairie.
Yep,
And the cover is very historical.
I love it.
You've got a girl, she's kind of sad, and it just fits. It looks like every other historical book out there.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
I love it. But except here's what I don't love. Sorry if my cover designer is watching this. There's a whole field of, you can't see it here, but it's a whole field of dandelions gone to seed. And
Oh,
when I look closely, I'm like, if that's a farmer's field, he is mad.
he
And
would be mad if it's a farmer's field. Yes, he would be
but
mad.
we're not talking about farmers in this
I had
book.
to laugh though, because I also was a photographer and stuff a few years ago, and my dad worked at this like crop consultant company. Anyway,
Okay.
putting together their website, pictures for their website, and I took this really great photo of this field, and here not thinking farmery stuff, but I took a photo of it thinking, oh, this is a beautiful field, and then my dad's looking at it, he's like, oh, can we not use that one because that one has like the water
Like,
damage here and there's wood
oh,
here and like it's so funny the things that they see that you don't see if you're not
mhm.
looking at it with that eye. And I guess that goes for everything in life, right?
Yeah. Well, I got nitpicky. It is funny that so sorry, these are like dusty. They were at an outside sale yesterday.
Yep.
This is the second one, and there's a barn and some sheep and
Cute.
like pasture, but some of the mock-ups had these round hay bales in them. And when I saw it, I just started crying. I was being really dramatic. And I was like, we didn't even have hay bales till 1947 or 57 or whatever it was. And my husband's like, it's okay. Calm down. They
Oh,
can fix.
that is so funny. I love that. But that is the thing too, it's your baby. So you see it and then too if it's like not historically accurate to your book, especially if it's historical like romance or historical novel, like that's really important.
Yeah. But so, yeah, with this first book, Bluebird on the Prairie, um, I do love the cover model and her just, I think it really, even though her outfit's not 1879, her just expression and the
Yep.
feel is very, like the book opens with a grieving widow,
Okay.
which is not just, it's hard to make that sparkle when you're trying to sell a book,
Yep.
which has been hard on one angle because I write comedy. My emails are pretty funny. Like me as a person is different than this grieving widow, but this was a story of my heart that needed to be told. This was every bit of my grief from a miscarriage
Oh,
I
wow.
packed into this character. Um, And so, like, as a first book, launching your career, maybe, maybe not the best choice
Okay.
but on the other hand, she's she's real. Like, she's not real. She's
It's
fake.
like
I made
oh,
her up. But her character is very realistic, and
yes.
people relate to that. I have a lot of readers who say, like, I needed that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I feel like those kind of characters and those kind of stories are so important because like when you read something that's real and wholesome like that you actually went through, like that pain that you felt is real. And
Right.
I feel like sometimes with certain types of loss, it's easy for people to just overlook it, in our world today. And I mean, it's a loss. So it's big, and I think that readers, especially women who are going through, all sort of areas in life, all aspects in life, definitely can read something like that and be like, "Oh my gosh, I went through that too. I feel
And,
that."
and I hope that comes through. And I tell you, like, I've never been a widow. I
Hmm.
don't I
Yeah,
don't speak to that, but we can write about things we've never been, just
right.
have being empathetic and I don't solve all of Eloise's problems with a new guy coming into town, but I do have him point her in the right direction, which is what I was going for. I was like, how do we give her a happily ever after when you can't? Like, you can't just fix everything, but we can show her that life is still worth living.
Right. Yes. And that is such a big message for people in general, I think. You know, life is precious and we can keep on on. And
Okay.
then what else kind of inspired you for that story?
Okay. So it's funny because it didn't start, maybe funny is the right word, ironic or whatever. I started the book because, like I told you, my friend had published a book. Well, I can do that. And
Yeah.
I actually had a sewing business, and I've told the story a few
Oh,
times, but I had a sewing business in home. I would take in alterations, and it was prom season. I had 34 dresses hung up
wow.
in yeah, I had a 400 square foot living room that I had turned into a studio.
Oh my goodness.
Our house was big enough, like we had a dining room slash toy room, but the living room was the sewing studio. But 34 dresses hung up, and I felt like I hadn't seen my husband in ages, and he had put the kids to bed, and I was like, just sit there and talk to me. And I was cutting, I still remember what it was, like this magenta tool, where you don't have to hem it, you just cut it, but it was layers and layers and layers. Like these dress, if a bell dress can have so many feet of fabric. Anyway,
Right.
I'm cutting this, and he was kind of irritated with me because I was like, just sit there and talk to me. And he asked, if you were going to write a book someday, what would you write about? And I was like, I don't know. And I remember being annoyed because I was like, this isn't what I was going to talk about. And I said, probably a historical romance like those books that I like to read. And he responded, well, I'd write a zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
And of
that's,
course, ew, zombies.
yeah.
And I just had this idea, what if zombie apocalypse meets historical romance? And you have a guy coming into town, and he's passed through some hard times and things. When he gets to this small town, he starts working in a coal mine, and then you have this um what if she's living with her brother, raising his kid, wearing a wedding ring because she's a widow, and then the new guy thinks that she's married? It would be funny. It'd be
Yeah.
funny. He thinks she's married, but she's not. And then he sees the husband, which is not a husband, dating this other girl, and he gets all jealous, and like there's this fight down in the coal mine, and they break open a wall, and this green mist comes out, and then starts the zombie apocalypse, and everyone dies except him and her, and they ride off happily ever after, and they escape. That's sort of my,
Funny. Yep.
and I decided I'm going to do it. And I wrote in the middle of prom season, like the busiest season of my year. And I had a 6-month-old baby. So there's that. And I
Yeah.
started writing, and I wrote about 100 words, which is not very much. It's not very many, many words. And I decided zombies are disgusting. I'm not writing a zombie apocalypse. Like, if you're going to write a zombie apocalypse, you have to write about really gross things. I'm not
Uh-huh.
doing like, and it's hilarious just to think about like what started this thing that is now an obsession that I spend hours and hours of my days doing. Um, yeah, so that was the beginning. And then my characters that I had already created this idea for. We have Eloise. She's wearing the wedding ring. She's living with her brother. She's raising her brother's kid because he's a widow and she's a widow.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's dead. It's the 1800s, you know?
Yeah.
And then we have Zeke coming in, and zombies are out, but we still have the
Yeah.
bones of a good story. The
Yeah.
coal mine is out. There are no coal mines in Nebraska, but he works at a brickyard. So you
Oh,
still have the brother owning a company. He still works for the company. And then if she's a widow, and I got about halfway through when I realized I can't give her a happily ever after because I was still, and this is the thing about grief, if you've experienced it, you can be living your life thinking you're okay and you're not.
yeah.
And that's where I was like, I cannot have a guy come into her life and fix everything because of how wrong. I just feel like it would just be damaging to anyone who's experiencing grief to read that and think, oh, great, just find a new guy.
Yep.
And just it would not be true.
Yeah.
would not
It's
be
not
true.
realistic, right? Yeah.
Right. And so I stopped for about a year as I continued to process my own grief. Even, and this was years and years after my miscarriage of still trying to process how can I worship a God
Mm.
that killed my baby
Oh.
is what I believed. That's what I and it feels harsh to say that.
Mhm.
But in my mind, if he could have stopped it and didn't,
Why? Yeah.
did he, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, it's the same with, they tell us, well, how did the Holocaust happen? Well, it's because bystanders didn't do anything. They, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense. Especially like I hadn't asked for this child.
Mm.
I wasn't trying to have a kid, and then like it was a surprise pregnancy anyway. Like, and then we accepted it. We were excited, and then for that to just be, you have to reevaluate
Yeah.
everything.
I'm sure.
Um, and so that was just was a growth for me, really processing
Yeah.
what kind of God am I actually worshiping, and what it comes down to. First off, you serve your God with fear and trembling because we don't understand.
Hmm.
Yes, he is a loving God.
Hmm.
All good things come from him. And yet, can you can you can you worship him when it's doesn't make sense?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's
That's
hard.
really a good point. And two, like our world is broken and full of sin. It's a broken world. After Eden and after all of that happened, the earth was cursed too. So it's
Yep.
sometimes like, I feel like it's so easy to, in that same breath, be like, God, why? Like, and to instantly be, why did you do that? Because I've been there in the different situations and stuff, but it's like, it's easy to go to that. But in the same breath, too, it's like, it might have just been the circumstances within our world, right?
Right.
Too. Could have been. But yeah, that's something that I think about sometimes where it's powerful. And when you can show that in story, like you were saying, even with like your main character, not getting her happily ever after with like, right away with a guy just fixing her problem. Because I feel like there are many books like that.
Hmm. Well, they
Where
don't, and I could have done more. I mean, this is still a first book, but
yeah,
I think each one of my books gets better.
right, right. I heard one author say one time where he was like, it's kind of like each book is a journal as to what type of a writer I was at that moment.
Yes,
And
for
so kind of like a time traveling moment back to who you were at that moment. But
right.
that is really cool. And I love that that's how you kind of like form this world for that character and everything too. Like with that question is like, God, why did you, with that kind of question, because I feel like that's a real wondering. I mean, a lot of people do wonder that.
Yeah. There's one scene, and depending on where people are, it's not going to affect them the same way. And that's totally fine. Like I had someone, because I share a bit of this speech when I do author talks, and I had someone come up and say, I'm not invalidating what you said, but when I read that book, it just was a cute historical romance and I loved it. And I was like, I love that for you. I love that for you. But I have had another person say, like, it's my favorite book. I've read it 4 times. It saved my life. And I'm like,
Wow.
what? Like, and that's where like God has done something that I didn't do.
Wow.
I have one scene, I had someone say, you need to trigger warnings in here for her panic attacks. And I was like, I didn't write any panic attacks. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Um,
Yep.
but there is a scene, she's walking home from a thing and it's dark. She doesn't usually go out at dark at night because she's afraid of the dark after
Yep.
things have happened. And she's crying, she kind of breaks down, she's sitting down, she's pulling up grass, like just trying to breathe.
Yeah.
Um, and this is where it gets vulnerable, but it's like, and she's crying out and she's upset because God messed up and took the wrong person
Yeah.
is, and someone was like, yeah, that's a panic attack. And I was like, no, that's just me being upset. Oh, there's a
Yep.
name for that. I don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
that's funny. I mean, not funny
no,
situation,
no,
but
no, I hear you.
funny. You're like, it's just me. It's funny how we do end up putting ourselves into our characters some here and there.
Yes. And they're like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, well,
Well, I did it. They say write what
Yeah.
you know too, right? So
Mhm.
when you are kind of like starting this story and then also all the stories that you've written in you know more recently too, what is it you feel like do you get the plot first or do you get the character first when it comes to story?
Char- Character first for me. Um, and they're all bit different. I've had about four different novels and four different strategies on how I write them. For the first book, I did a lot of research on how to write a book, and I plotted and I read more things. You know, you've got the doorway of no return, you've got the
Mm.
climax, you've got the, and I wanted to hit all those points. But then when I started writing it, it kind of shifts around, which is perfect. With my second book, the characters just kept doing what they wanted.
Hmm.
And
That's
I was
funny.
surprised by, they're like, what are you doing? So I really got to know the characters. Who is Hannah Benton? What does she want?
Hmm.
Who is Tobias Franklin? What does he want? And then you put him in a situation and they have to get themselves out,
Hmm.
which
Mhm.
is very different than a plotter. In it's a spoiler, but it happens in chapter two, so it's not as much of a spoiler. Hannah is riding on a train with her mother, and we get the idea we don't like mother because she's just awful. But in chapter two, mother slaps Hannah across the face, and she's 20 something years old. And I'm typing this, and I actually gasped. Like, I typed it and went, like, did not see that
Didn't see
coming.
that coming. It just
And
happened. Yeah.
it just happened. But since that moment, I really kind of let my characters do what they wanted to do.
That's
Um,
cool.
so I'm not a plot. I used to think I was a plotter, but I'm definitely not.
Okay, wow. That's cool. And so you just kind of like discovery write and write along as you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's an idea. I want this to happen, especially romance. They're going to get
Right.
together.
Yeah.
But and because I understand story, I understand, okay, they're going to do what they want, but this chapter has to move them closer to this, or there has to be a conflict about this. And generally where it's happening going. But
Right.
one of my characters was just promoted, like the boss quit and he's going to run the company now. And I was like, I didn't know that was happening. I don't know if he's going to accept the job or not. I don't know if he wants it.
Oh, interesting. So you'll figure that out once you sit down and write it, right?
I'll figure that out.
That's awesome. So what does a day in the life of Tasha the writer look like?
Oh, it's like an
And
embarrassing
mom, since
question.
you're a mom too.
I know. I'm like trying to find something to hide behind. Well, there's the ideal schedule, and then there's the what actually happens. I'm curious if I could just fake this one. Um, no, generally, I summers are weird. I'll just tell you summers are weird
Okay.
because I homeschool the kids during the year, and on a regular day, I would get up and do some writing, and then we're breakfast and chores and the things, and we're starting school around 8:30, school from until noon,
Cool.
and then it's sort of kids on your own. I don't know what I do. The days go by, and then it's like supper and bedtime, and there's a lot of craziness, but I sounds really lame when I say it that way. I feel like there's always something I'm working on and I'm always adjusting and tweaking. So this summer I stopped thinking I would get up in the morning and write a book. Just
Okay.
happening. I don't know if I just don't want it as badly. I think when I had babies,
Hmm.
if I didn't get up before they did and write,
You wouldn't.
there was no time. But now that my youngest is 6 years old,
Oh, sure.
um, he's playing quietly upstairs. So I can have chunks in the afternoon to write. I have chunks in the morning when they're at the library.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a
It's,
great answer. I mean, I guess, like life, the different moments in life change, Like you said, when you had little babies, it was different. And now it's a little bit different again.
it is different. But it's not any easier. I used to think I wasn't writing more books because I didn't have the time,
Mm.
and that is a big old lie. Because I have the time now, I'm not producing anymore.
Okay.
So I think there's a creative process there, and you can only put out so much.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And so when it comes to also, being author boss and a mom boss, like what advice do you have for authors out there who want to be moms or, are not yet moms, or I guess that's the same thing. Well, or are moms and want to write that book? What advice do you have for them?
Well, this sounds kind of counter maybe what you're asking, but if if it's not a story that they feel like they just have to tell,
Mhm.
I wouldn't like don't do it.
Mm.
That's
Mhm.
my anti-motivational advice. It's if you're doing it because you think it's a way to make money, don't do it.
Mm.
Some people do. Some people can make a living doing this. I'm not one of those people yet.
Mhm.
Like I can say, like, because there's still hope, like maybe this will make me money someday. Currently, it's not. Like currently, it's a hobby that pays for itself.
Okay.
So there's my TMI, none of your business. I'm not making any money doing this. But
Well, you will. You will.
I will. I
Yeah,
will. This will go out to the world and they will say, Tasha, we want to buy your book.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
hope many
Um,
people find you.
but that being said, like I wrote book one because I like they say it's a story of your heart.
Mm.
Like this was a story I wanted to show people um that there was some hope. Like that the dry bones and Ezekiel, that God can bring him from dried out nothing,
Mm.
grow muscles and skin and walking around soldiers. You know, he doesn't just make a human to sit there as a slug. Like in this analogy, they became walking around people. Like,
Yeah.
uh, so that was kind of my people need to know. People need to know it's not the end. But
Hmm.
then you finish that one book. I'm not someone who wrote a book, I'm an author.
Yeah,
Um, and
exactly.
so I have had to have, so that I guess that's another really great advice. You really got to know why you're doing it. Um, if if you want to do it just to make money, then write to market,
Mm.
write what people want to read. Stick to the formula. It's a great formula. Guy meets girl, conflict, happily ever after, and you can make a lot of money doing that. Um, but if you have a story to tell, every story you write needs to have a why.
Mm.
This story was about friendship.
Mhm.
Um, what if they're friends? What if they connect really well? Um, they're friends from the beginning. What does that look like? And that was my husband and I. We were friends from the beginning. We have so much conflict, so much conflict. To be as happily married as we are,
Mhm.
to have this much conflict is craziness, and a lot of it is from me. And if you read this book, um, the amount of conflict that they have as friends is funny because some of it is word for word arguments that my husband and I have had. So,
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
um, whatever.
I think
Um,
there's what a saying or something that's like, if you don't fight well, like the reason why people make it is because they've fought through it and actually gotten through it together and figured out, how to be better individuals in the relationship.
yeah. This why was because this was oh man, this book was so much fun to write. Waiting for Gilbert is a rom-com first person, so I just got to like flow. I was nice to write it. Um, this is a girl who just wants to know that she's good enough. Um, Not good enough. No one is good enough, but like to be chosen and loved.
Yeah.
And that was really strong because she was with a boyfriend and they weren't a good fit.
Hmm.
But it doesn't mean that no one loves you. Like she found another guy. They're perfect for each other.
Yeah,
Like there is someone out there for you. And that was a
exactly.
beautiful story.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's exciting. Can't wait to read all of your stories. They sound like fun and everything. So, do you feel like you also put, like, since we're on a road trip, do you also feel like you put Nebraska into your books?
Yes. 100% yes. So all three of these and the fourth one coming are Nebraska stories.
Okay,
This is in a Swedish town in Nebraska.
cool.
I just happen to live in a Swedish town in Nebraska.
That's
So,
awesome. Yep.
um, but it's Nebraska. They say ope, which I've had people read
I
it. They're
love
like, I
that.
thought it was just an Eloise thing. I'm like, no, it's a Nebraska thing.
That's funny. We say it in North Dakota too.
Right. Like it's
Yeah.
Midwest, but I
Yeah.
think it starts in Nebraska all the way up. There's a blizzard. This one it's miserably hot. This one it's April, which means it's 100 degrees, but also snowing.
Okay.
Um, and
Yeah,
there's the prairies and the fields and the sun and the grasshoppers and
I
it's
love that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is one thing I really why I wanted to start this in the Midwest is because like I feel like, our states are just kind of seen as flyover country or,
whatever, right?
right. I know, exactly. Come on, people, come to the Midwest. It's great. Just not in a blizzard.
Don't come in a
Um,
blizzard.
but yeah, so what would you recommend that people check out in Nebraska if they come for vacation? I mean, if they just, on a whim, we're like, I've never been to Nebraska, let's go check it out.
Oh, I maybe not be the best for this. It's hard to just pop in. Um, it kind of has to grow on you. Like I moved here from Kentucky.
Okay.
So when I moved here from Kentucky, I was like, I felt exposed,
Hmm.
like too much sky.
You can see for
But
long
I
distances.
know, but after a decade, I went and visited Kentucky and I was claustrophobic, like, whoa, where are the too many trees? Where's the sky?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if you can find a place to get in the Platte River,
Hmm.
that's a thing. I don't know if there's an official place. Like we can just get in. Like you just drive up to where there's a bridge and you pull over and you get in the Platte River. And
Cool.
it's muddy. Like in the end of August, it's like it's hot. Like it's hotter than a bathwater. You don't want to get in then. Um, and there's dead fish. So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Ash Falls. Look that up. There's a dinosaur sorry, words. What are the excavation?
Yep. Okay. Wow, that's
That's
cool.
like half done, and then they put a tent over it. It's an inside thing. You can go look at full on dinosaurs. There's a airplane museum in Omaha because there used to be an Air Force, or there's an Air Force base up there.
Yeah, and so if you were to go on a road trip, what one book would you bring with you? Maybe it's a book that you go back to over and over again. And yeah, what book?
What book?
Yeah,
I,
I know it's a hard question.
I don't know. I have so many books. I mean, the Bible, is that
Yes.
like like besides the Bible?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like looking at my books here. These are all books that I have a shelf behind here of books I haven't read yet. I guess that's my TBR pile.
Tons of books to read.
I know.
I know.
So,
Insane.
okay, here's one there's Donna Otto.
Okay.
Write that down. Donna Otto with a Totto. She's in women's ministry. Um, she's written a ton of how to be a mom books
Okay.
that I read most of it and then I didn't finish it and then I went back and started it, but there's just like it's gold. It's
Okay.
like
So good.
so good. Any of her nonfiction, the one I've been reading through is um Loving Life as an At-Home Mom.
Oh, cool. Yep.
That's
Okay.
nonfiction.
And then so where can people find you and your books?
I'm all over the internet. I have a website, tashahackett.com, and I'm active-ish on Instagram. I'm not an activist. I'm active-ish on Instagram. I like to do tap to tidies. My ADHD brain really loves to like there has to be some accountability. So I'll take a picture of something really messy, like my kitchen counter. I have like a huge island, which is ridiculous. Who thought this would be a good idea? You can't keep it clean. But I take a picture of it, tap to tidy, and then I clean it up like a crazy person because you can't leave that on the internet. And then
Right.
we take another picture.
Oh,
Ta-da!
funny. I love that. That's
And people
awesome.
think I do it for like likes and clicks and comments, and it's not. It's just the only way that I'll get
Get
that
it
counter
clean.
cleared.
Right. Well, it was lovely to chat with you.
Well, you
Perfect.
have
Well,
a good day. Thanks
yeah,
for calling.
sounds good. I enjoyed chatting with you, and I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for riding shotgun on the Romance Reading Road Trip. I'm so excited for you to be joining this journey with us. Be sure to go down to the video description below and sign up for the passport. You're not going to want to miss out on it.